Hi, welcome back. Okay, today we are going to be finishing the DIY for the Magic Memory Book. So now that you've made your cover, you've cut your pages, you've done all of that, it's time to sew them in. And this is probably the most challenging part, but once you start doing it, it will come easier to you. So let's get going. Put your pages aside. You don't necessarily need those right now. The first thing you're going to need to do is sew 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes. I actually couldn't even remember. In your cover. It's going to need to go all the way through. So you're going to need an awl to do that. It's very sharp. It will help you make the holes pretty easily. You'll also use this to make the holes in your book pages to go all the way through. So there are two ways you can do this. Because I make so many of these, I actually made myself a little template with the holes where they are, and I just poke them in and cut away, and then I use this as a template for my pages as well. That way I don't have to measure every time. Now if you don't want to make a little template, by the way, this is just paper laminated. You can measure it. Just use your ruler, and as long as they're evenly placed, it doesn't even really matter. You want it about 1.5 inches or 2 inches from the top and the bottom. You want your holes, your first holes about 1.5 inches from the bottom, 2 inches from the bottom, and then you want the next one directly in the middle of those two. So every book is different, so I can't give you exact measurements, but as long as they are evenly displaced, about 1.5 inches from the top, 1.5 inches from that hole, and then 1.5 inches from that hole, 1.5 inches, it doesn't matter. It'll be secure. But these holes do have to be precise because they do need to match your pages and the holes in your pages. So whatever you measure on your cover has to be precise to your pages because it needs to line up in your book. So just keep that in mind. Like you could even use a pen, like you probably can't see, but I actually have a hole pre-cut here. Even if you mark it where your holes are on your ruler, and then you can use that on your pages so you know exactly where they are. That's kind of an easy cheat way to do it. So let's start by making these holes. Like I said, I use a template that I pre-made. You put it right in the middle. I poke a few holes in, and then once I have the holes started, I don't even know if you can see, I have them started, then you put your awl right into those holes and you make them bigger because it needs to accommodate the twine you're going to use to sew in your pages. So we're going to go through, and you want them pretty big. Be careful you don't get your finger on the other end because that would hurt, but see, it does need to go all the way through. It's really not that hard. It just takes time. Go slowly. There's no reason to go quickly here. So I actually just realized that hole isn't perfectly lined up, but whatever. So make that hole. You want them pretty big. You want to be able to see through them. I don't know if you can see that, but you want them to be in there pretty well. So it's hard to see them. Keep going. You just keep making those holes. And just don't poke your finger on the other end because that would hurt. I like them pretty big because you can't really see them on the other end once you're all done. And it just makes it so much easier to sew the pages in. I think some people might like these a little bit smaller. I don't. I like them a little bit bigger. I think it makes the next step of sewing that much easier. So be careful. These awls are really sharp. So yeah, now that we have our holes cut out, you can almost see them. Hopefully you can see them, the holes. You can set your cover aside, and then you need to move on to your pages. So like I said, if you have this already pre-made to match your cover, you just stick it right on here, you make your holes, you pre-cut them, and then you push your awl all the way through. You want to be able to see it because it needs to go all the way through. So you look for those holes you pre-sliced and you put it all the way through. All the way through. That one's done. You go to your second one. I already have these holes cut. You would just put it right on top. You make hole markers. Or if you used your ruler and you dotted it with your cover, to match, you would put the holes right where your ruler marks were. However you do it, just make sure that they are precise. And sometimes that can be tricky, and it is trial and error, but as long as it's right where all the holes are, your sewing process will be so much easier, because it's such a bummer if you get there and then you realize, oh my gosh, my pages don't line up. So another way to check to make sure is you can see where your holes went through the book. I line it up to make sure. Yeah, see, these will line up nicely. I'm not sure if you can see that, but the holes, I check that before I get started, because I have to tell you, there has been many times where they didn't line up and I didn't realize, and then I had to re-sew, and it was kind of a bummer. So yeah, you can see these all line up pretty nicely, so that's good. So now we're going to get started. I'm going to start with the back. I like the cover page to be the first one you see, so that's why I'm using this set for the top. So right when you open your book, that's what you see. So I use embroidery thread because it's thick. I also use a thick embroidery needle. I have to use a needle threader because my eyesight is not what it once was. So you're just going to sew like you would any quick sewing job. It's not anything very fancy. I measure out about 3 lengths just to make sure, and that's probably way more than you actually need. You open it up and you're going to start in the middle. You're going to start with the middle hole in the pages and the middle hole in your book. See, we don't want this little end to get away from us because that would be a bummer. So what I do is I sew it right to that binder clip. Not sew, tape it right to that binder clip. Okay, so we've gone through the middle. It's okay that it's loose, don't worry about that right now. And then we're gonna go to the top hole. And then you're gonna go also through the top hole of the book. So middle, top, and now you're back and your pages are open. You're gonna go back to the middle, careful not to put it through the thread, because otherwise it won't tighten easily. Okay, so now we've gone middle, we went through the top, we came back, we're back out the back here. So now we're going to go to the bottom. We're going to go find that hole, which isn't always easy. Oh, there it is. So now we're almost there. We're going to go right through the middle one more time. And as you can see, it's pretty much sewn in. I go one more loop from top to bottom just to make sure those pages are in there good and snug, because I want these books to really last. I want it to be something that, you know, your children will remember and love. My kids love going through photo albums of the years gone past, so that's important. So now this is your last time. You went to the top, you went all the way down, you skipped that middle one, and now you're back in the back. You go back into the middle, and it goes right into the middle hole. So now you're back. You can untape that because you're pretty secure now. Set that tape aside, set your needle aside, and you're just going to want to gently tug these so that they're tight. See, it's not like crazy tight, but it's definitely taut, if that's a good word. So all I do at this point is I tie a knot. I tie once, usually 3 times, because I like to make sure the job is done. I like these little tails in my book. I don't know why. I think they're cute. You can take off your binder clips because your bottom is completely sewn in now. So yay, look at that. You just need to do the top now. I'm going to show you one more time because I know sometimes that sewing could be tricky. So you'll get to see it one more time. So you're going to watch me with my old lady eyes thread the embroidery needle one more time. So you'll see the first time I did this, it took me so long, and I know now you're thinking, oh my gosh, she just flew through that. I've probably made 100 of these books, and I'm so grateful for all your orders because it's something I really truly enjoy. Remember, 3 lengths just to make sure you have enough. 1, 2, 3. So don't be frustrated if your pages don't light up the first time, or if your ribbon or your thread gets tangled and you have to take it all out and start over. That's happened to me so many times. So I know it seems like I'm kind of flying through this, but it's because I've made so many, and I love doing it, so that's great. So we're gonna start in the middle, pull it all the way through, and don't forget to have your tape handy, because you don't want to lose the tail. That would be a bummer. Okay, so now we've gone all the way through the middle. We start in the middle, we go back to the top, go through the hole, find your hole on the top, pull it all the way through, gently tug on it, and then we're going to go to the middle one more time and pull. We're back in the back, and then we're going to go to the bottom hole, and then we're going to find the bottom hole in our pages, pull it all the way through, and go back to the middle. Okay, so now we have it almost done. We're going to do one more loop from top to bottom, just for security reasons. So this is the part where it does get a little more tricky, because those pages are in there a little bit tight already, even though you haven't pulled. But so start at the top, these are done, you skip that middle one at the end and you just go straight to the bottom, go all the way through. Now we go back to the middle because we're almost done. I don't know if you can see, I don't think I'm doing the best job there because it's kind of hard. And we're right back where we started. This is always the hard one. That last one, there it is. So now we're back. Pull it all the way through. You can take out your needle because you're done, hopefully. And then take out the tape because that tail is done. And then you gently pull. Sometimes it takes a little bit, you have to play with it. But see, yeah, nice and tight. You want them to be taut. So don't pull too hard though, because this embroidery floss can be testy sometimes. I tie it in 3 little knots. I think I used way too much thread for these two. I had to cut a lot off, but that's okay. Better too much than too little. Again, snip. Perfect. You take off your binder clips. And folks, we have done it. Your magic memory book is ready to decorate. Look at how cute that is. Christmas paper. Oh, I need to show you how to make the pockets. So it's super simple. Those pocket pages you made that you folded over, you can make your pocket as big as you want. But now you have the most adorable little pocket you could put something in. So there you go, there's that. Oh, look at all that little vintage wrapping paper, is so cute. So you have plenty of space here now to accommodate if you put Christmas cards in, or if you put buttons in. Let's see here, here's another pocket page we could trim. So you just cut it on the diagonal. Like say I wanted to put this little pin I got from Disneyland in. You could put it right in as a memory. And the beauty of this is your book will grow with you. It doesn't matter how thick the things are you put in it. So I hope you love it. I hope you decorate it. I hope you like and comment. If you have any questions, leave them below. Send us a message on Instagram at Thrifty Day. I'm happy to answer anything. I'm happy to tell you what supplies I use, where I got them, which ones work best. And we also have lots of books available on Thrifty Day if you wanted to get started. I also sell them completely done if this was like way too extra and too much work for you. Something you're not interested in doing, you just send us a message. We have a whole highlight on our Instagram page of books that we have available that we can make. So thank you so much. I hope you love them as much as I do, and I can't wait to see what you all create. Thanks for watching. Bye.